Hi. Another of the Orson Welles documentaries I've seen in the last year was the film that specifically accompanied the Other Side of the Wind, and that was They'll Love Me When I'm Dead, which was an epigraph that Orson Welles came up with about his difficulties in making the movie and how he struggled to attract attention and support from other parts of Hollywood. It's in some ways a conventional documentary in chronicling the making of The Other Side of the Wind from the end of the 60s when Wells was starting to gather together the creative team necessary, particularly his cameraman Gary Graver, through the production, the attempts at gathering financing together to finish the movie, right through to the end of his life. The presentation is a little odd. It's narrated in part by Alan Cumming, who for some reason is affecting a mid-Atlantic accent, and his segments are filmed in black and white as he sits at a moviola editing machine. And it feels a bit too mannered. It feels too much like the director, Morgan Neville, is trying to be overly artistic in presenting the story, in having this sort of Twilight Zone-ish host. But he does a good job in connecting together the different psychological threads. The film cuts between footage from Other Side of the Wind, on-set footage, footage from Wells's other films, footage from other films in general, particularly the work of Welles' mentor and one of the lead actors in The Other Side of the Wind, Peter Bogdanovich. And it creates a kind of a mosaic in the way that Wind is a mosaic. That's composed of different shots, different cameras, different perspectives of a single event, whereas this is a whole network of events that together can illustrate a single idea and theme. So it's an interesting narrative device for telling the story, but it's as if Neville's trying to do too many things at once. He's trying to incorporate too many ideas into how to tell the story into one unit, and it doesn't have perhaps the authorial discipline that Wind has in contrast. Nevertheless, the story itself is very interesting and worth hearing, and everyone involved is interviewed. I found it strange that some people are interviewed or speak and they're never given a credit as to who they are until the end credits. We're not explained who they are, so there's one voice that keeps coming up, which I recognised immediately, who talks about Welles in very authoritative terms, this very learned English voice. It's Simon Callow, who is Welles' biographer. He's written, I think, 3 biographies of Welles and is currently working on the 4th and last in the series. But he's never appears on camera, and there's never a caption explaining who he is, right until the end credits. So it's a jumble of a film, and it's not telling the story as clearly as it should. It's not serving the story as well as it should. But it is attempting to do so with something of a flair, something of the swirl of the magician's cape that Welles might have appreciated himself. So it's not great, but for the story it's telling and the effort putting into it, it could be a lot worse.